What's going on, guys? We are at another place again, and I might have told you a little white lie last time. I think last time I told you that we were going to get the bars powder coated, then come back and put the front mount on, but we thought with the trouble of wrapping the bar up to keep it safe when you're welding the front tab on, or the front mount, and it's just too much of a hassle. So I've been doing a little bit of procrastinating on getting these bars to powder coat. Same with the condenser cover for this reason. So now we can get everything on, everything welded, everything finished, and then when these are done, pretty and shiny, we don't have to worry about scratches as much. So today, I'm going to show you guys how this Johnny joint goes together, because we need to put this end together for mock-up. Put that, if you remember, we put our axle tabs on the axle, so we're going to bolt that into the axle. We're only going to use one bar because both bars are identical length, which is important if you're doing this at home. So we're going to get this one set up to the length we want, and we only need one because we're going to do one set at a time. And since they're identical, we don't have to worry about, different lengths on different sides, obviously. So that's the reason for that. We'll get this set up, and I'll show you guys how those go together, because it's actually really cool how it works. So yeah, give me a minute and we'll get back. All right, we got our bar in there, got our stand, and I want to show you guys this again because it's actually pretty important. When you get in here and you look, there's a lip, okay? That lip needs to go down, because this is what's going to happen. You're going to take up here, bring your parts. They give you 2 washers, and you put the first washer in. You know what? There we go. There's a little piece of slag I was going to get out of there. It's coming apart again anyways. Okay. Tight fit. You get your washer in there. Okay, it's going to sit on that lip. Urethane bushing. I'm going to put that in there next. Slip that down in there. That's going to go all the way down to the bottom. Okay, that sets down on that washer. Pull this up so you guys can see it. Okay, if you can see that. Next, the ball. Okay, this is the important part. And what I'm going to do for it is we have some AMSOIL white lithium spray. I'm gonna spray a little bit in there, just to help us put it together, because these things go together really, really tight. That in there. Make sure we're opened up enough that the ball goes through the bottom, which I think we're good. Okay. So we got that. We're just going to repeat the other way. Get a little more spray there. Top part of the bushing. Now, okay, you see? Yeah, you can see that. One half of the bushing has what looks like teeth. The other end does not. So I'm going to slide this back so you guys can get in there. You see how the other end, I probably should have showed you this before, the other end has the same sort of thing going on. You want those teeth to oppose each other. Don't stack the teeth on top of each other. They need to oppose. They need to lock into each other. So we're going to do that. Put the washer on top, and this is why you just don't push it together by hand, is you can't. Slide that back in there. We found a little spacer piece. It's going to work great for that. Put that on. I'm actually going to we're going to lift the ram up a little bit more so we can get in there and see. Okay. Shut that down. Okay. Next important part is to make sure everything is set. And just like that, we're together. So a couple important things to look at here when you're doing this. Not so important, but a fun little detail. Keep your print out. Print. Keep that out. Make sure you grease everything. Especially with real grease when you're done. It's got a grease hole. Make sure that snap ring is in there completely before you take it apart, because this took a lot more force than you'd think to get together, but it's going to last a really, really long time. So that end's ready, and over here, since we're using 4x4 square tube, 3x4 square tube, sorry. These little spacers, or comps, or whatever you want to call them. Some people call them compensators. Can't remember what Doug called them over there. But anyway, these spacers that go into your heim joints, they need turned down because they're too wide to go in there. So that's what he's doing. He's over here. He's over here on his little lathe, turning them down. And I think he's done, actually. Oh, we got one more. Got one more to do. So, misalignment spacers are machined down. Misalignment spacers, compensators, I've heard a lot of different things, but regardless, spacers for your heim joints. We had to cut them down so they would fit just right in our tube. We have that together. We have our bar put together, and I think the next time you guys are going to see us, we're going to be back at Doug's house, and we're going to get the front mounts welded on. So I'll get back to you guys in a minute, and then we'll go from there. We have one last step before we start welding, and that is to get these front mounts cleaned up and done. Doug was nice enough to get these cut out and roughed out for us during the week after work one night. So what we have to do, and I don't think I can do this with one hand, but we need to take our deburring tool and you go around the inside of the hole with a little more force and take the burr off, give you a nice edge. I'm going to come across here with a grinder and round this edge, kind of clean this up. And also, I think we're going to try to hammer this seam out so it's not there. You won't see it, but it's just one of those things that might bug us. So we'll get you guys set up on that. We'll get that cleaned up, and then we'll start welding these on, and then we'll be ready for powder. So let's get going on this and get done. So we wanted to come through and we wanted to clean up this whole bracket, which you just saw. And what I wanted to do mainly was we want to clean the mill scale off of it and also kind of round your edges and give it more of a softer corner. So we did that. And one last thing I'm going to do, I keep saying one last thing I'm going to do, but I want to show you guys how you can get rid of this seam, this inner seam in this pipe. Or square tube, rec tube, whatever it is. So I'm gonna change battery quick, get you guys set back up, get it in there, and then I'll kind of explain how that works. It's optional. You don't have to. It looks better if you do. So this was the seam I was telling you about. We already kind of played with it a little bit, but it's a really ugly seam, and it's unnecessary, but they don't care when they make it. They're just making it. So what you can do, you can come through with a nice sharp cold chisel. Come through, grab an edge, take a hammer, and just start beating it on it. All right, so we have the bracket done completely. This is the finished product. We got all the mill scale off, and the seam is nice and clean. It's not something you have to do, but it's just one of those steps that is, you know, you're not gonna look in there and see it and regret it. They turned out really good. So we've got all the mill scale off, got the edges cleaned up, got everything rounded off, no sharp edges. No one's gonna cut themselves on them. No one should be down there anyways, but there they are. We're gonna do some jockeying to get the truck in here. We're gonna have to do it outside because it doesn't fit inside. But going back to getting that seam out, so what you want to do, what we've been doing, is you get yourself a nice cold chisel or nice sharp edge. Make sure it's nice fresh ground, and just go ahead and angle the hammer and just hammer it off. And it comes off. It should come off like that. Just spirals off and peels up, nice and clean. I just thought you'd want to see that. You guys would want to see that. Nice little step, you know. Not many people do it out there, I'm sure, but it's the little things that turn into big things. This is the other one we did. It's done. That seam's out. We need to get the mill scale off, but other than that, everything's rounded and nice on it, and we'll get that buffed up, and then we'll get the truck over here and start welding on. This will go, it'll go real quick now. Once those mounts are done, we'll just have to attach the bars to the bottom of the truck. You know, we put our Johnny joint in that one bar that goes on the axle side. I decided to go with one fixed end and one Heim end on these bars. One for simplicity. Not so much cost. It is a little cheaper to do that, but nobody's really doing it with Johnny joints. You either buy your kits or your sets, whatever you want to call it, with double Heims, which is the way to go really for adjustability, or you run a Heim on one end and a 3-piece urethane bushing on the other end, which is just a super basic joint. Johnny joint is right there between your 3-piece urethanes and a Heim, where you don't get as much working angle as a Heim joint, but you get a considerable working angle compared to that 3-piece joint, and they're tough, greasable. It's different, so we'll see how they work out. So yeah, we'll show you guys how this works. We're gonna, like I said before, kind of a ramble, pin up the Johnny joint end down on the axle, because we already have those axle brackets on. We'll come through. Okay, we'll pin up the rear Johnny joint end on the axle, and then we'll come through with a jack and jack the front end up after we put our bolt through our Heim into the front brackets. We'll jack that up to the frame. We'll center it real nice, make sure the bars are real parallel, real straight, nothing's wonky there, and then we'll clean the frame obviously, and then tack them in, finish them in, hit them with some little black paint, and then I promise we'll be ready to go to powder coat. So there's our finished bar. Assembled bar. Let's get down here and I'll show you guys how it goes. So I'm just gonna set you guys right here. So I know the lighting's not good, but the Johnny end goes here. And we're just doing this to mock them up right now. I'm kind of tight. Hey, Doug.
Yes, sir.
Can I borrow your hammer?
Oh, yeah, those are probably tight. Probably almost exactly the same size.
Yeah.
Yeah, just knock one ear over a little bit. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. Better tight than loose. More.
Shouldn't have to go that far.
There we go. There she is.
You want a dead? Oh, I don't have a devil to knock this off. Tap it up.
That couldn't have got any better. I gotta go back just okay. There's one end. That end goes there. The other end. Oh, get my head out of the bite. The other end, take a jack. Put it up there.
Oh, I need a block. Oh, gonna need a block.
It's just a little too tall. Just lower the truck down.
Yeah, right.
That'll work.
We'll just take the lines off that side.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Getting excited, Brian?
Huh?
I said you getting excited.
Yeah. Excited about finding a way to get these steps off of here.
We just on bolt.
Yeah, but I still need to get my ass in the truck every day.
It's only like $2,000 for the fancy folding ones, isn't it?
Yeah, you can probably buy them for like 12. Alright, so I think we're going to kind of wrap it up here for today. Doug's welding the last bracket on. We have the driver's side welded. His passenger side's tacked up there. He's going to weld it on there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this Johnny joint back apart. I'm gonna take the hind back out so we can all so we can take them powder coat. Maybe done. You don't, if anybody's curious, you don't need a press to take this apart because everything's compressed. There's a lot of load on it, but it's not really a lot of spring load. So what I'll do is I'm just going to take the snap ring out and reverse everything I showed you earlier. Just take it all out, put it back in the box. And then I'll have to press it back together. When I go to put it back together. And then the high end just threads out. So that's that. I want to thank you guys for watching along with this project and sticking with us. I said in the end of it. And if you guys have any ideas of what you want to see, I'm thinking of, I have a few things rolling around my head. Go ahead and shoot them down below in the comment section. Also, if you haven't already liked the video, subscribe to the channel because we have a lot of cool things coming, especially this summer. I'll talk about it more in a different video, but Siskiyou Diesel Fest, they just finally put their dates out, so we'll be going over that. Hopefully we'll see you guys there too. So thanks again, and we'll see you on the next one.